Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Pointless Top 10, a show where we make top 10 lists out of pointless things. Why are we flying by this pointless statue in Booty Bay? Because inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin. 10. Number 10 is Thunder Peak, which is the volcano in Ashenvale near the remains of Iris Lake, and home to Lord Magmathar, who sits atop this volcano and is a fire elemental yelling a bunch of random quotes, such as, "The earthen ring cannot withstand my fury. Ashenvale will burn. There is no escape. There is only the fiery embrace of my lava." So he's pretty mad. And he's the one who caused this volcano to erupt. I mean, he's got the whole forest burning. He's got his minions going around burning stuff. So, I mean, he did what he set out to do, and he created a volcano in the process. So, I mean, for all those reasons alone, it may not be the greatest volcano, but you know what? It's a volcano, and that's why it's number 10. 9. Number 9 is the Hand of Gul'dan volcano, which is this massive volcano west of the Black Temple in Shadow Moon Valley that was raised up by, as you might have guessed, Gul'dan. And there's actually some interesting lore behind this. So, according to Wowpedia, and according to the Earthen Ring, this volcano was raised by Gul'dan himself when he severed the connection between the Orcish people and the elemental spirits of Draenor through the words of the Cipher of Damnation, which were used against Cyruk the Fire Lord, I don't know how you say that name, and the volcano now dominates much of the landscape in the valley. The truth is, it always existed, and the spell that severed the connection to the elements also turned the volcano fell. A vision of this act is repeatedly depicted at the Altar of Damnation near the Fell Pits on the volcano's western face. Alternate Gul'dan tried to create the volcano as well in alternate Shadow Moon Valley, but was stopped. And during the Second War, Gul'dan compared raising the broken shore from the oceanic floor to raising the volcano from the ground of Shadow Moon Valley. So, really cool lore behind this volcano. I love the atmosphere, the aesthetic of everything. You got the rocks falling in the sky, you got the fell lava all around, and it's pretty cool. But, you know what? I think there are some better volcanoes, so that's why I put it at number 9. I'm sorry, Gul'dan. It's still a cool volcano. 8. Number 8 is the Bleeding Mountain volcano, which is a subzone in Frostfire Ridge, and it's a large volcano next to the Thunder Pass and inhabited by Fire Fury giants. I actually like the name for the volcano, the Bleeding Mountain, because it pretty much is what a volcano is, right? Like a bleeding mountain. I never thought of it that way. So it's a cool volcano, but there's no crazy lore or anything behind it. It's just kind of a volcano in Frostfire Ridge. You know what? Sometimes that's fine, right? Especially in Pointless Top 10, you know, not everything needs to be crazy. It doesn't need any big lore backstory. Sometimes it's just like, man, that's a cool volcano. We need to appreciate that. And I figured this would be a good time to learn a bit about volcanoes. Volcanoes are openings or vents where lava, small rocks, and steam erupt onto the Earth's surface. As for what causes volcanoes to erupt, the melted rock or magma is lighter than the surrounding rock and rises up. This magma collects in magma chambers, but it's still miles below the surface. When enough magma builds up in the magma chamber, it forces its way up to the surface and erupts, often causing volcanic eruptions, or I guess in Ashenvale's case, a fire elemental just wanted it to happen. Overall, great volcano. A lot of smoke on this one, if you see all that over there. And, it's number 8. 7. Number 7 is the Inferno Peak, which is a large area of fell volcanoes in the eastern section of Mardoom, and several areas like Forge of Corruption, the Doom Fortress, and Illidari Foothold are located here. And it's also the starting area for demon hunters. Honestly, I like this fell volcano area, and when I see the Inferno Peak, I really just think of the Gul'dan volcano, but like more updated, more of them, and just, you know, just fresher, more vibrant. You know, it doesn't have that Gul'dan backstory, but Mardoom in itself has a bunch of lore behind it. And I mean, just looking around at all these volcanoes and all the fell lava and everything, it just looks really cool. And, you know, I never really see people mention the Demon Hunter starting area that much, at least not since Legion. And it's kind of cool to go back and see a lot of the cool stuff that is and was there. So I really enjoy seeing all these fell volcanoes, all this fell lava there. It's pretty cool. You know, it really is, I feel like, an updated version of the Gul'dan volcano. And that's why it's number 7. 6. Number 6 is the Obsidian Dragon Shrine volcano, and I'm going to read a bit about this from Wowpedia, because I think it does a better job describing it than I will. It is the Black Dragonflight's Dragon Shrine, located at the base of a volcano in northwestern Dragonblight. The shrine is as barren and blasted as the Ruby Dragon Shrine is lush. its skeletal trees perpetually burning and magma surging just below the skin of the land. While its location at the foot of a volcano reflects the earth-warding duty afforded to the black dragonflight and the potent energies within the earth, its constant smoldering nature is also reflective of the dragonflight's destructive nature and is likely not due to the actions of the Scourge. Because during the war against the Lich King, adventurers were sent here by Bitter Nalist to aid Serenar in removing the invading Scourge, as this charred site is a sacred place for the Black Dragons. So there's some lore information behind the Obsidian Dragon Shrine Volcano, and I mean, really, I think this is just cool. Like, you get to walk into a volcano, which is pretty sick, and almost looks like you're walking into a dragon mouth, and then the lava is kind of like chunking down, and I feel like this is more natural to how lava actually moves, you know what I mean? So, I mean, really cool aesthetic. There's like dead dragons and stuff in here, and it has some cool lore behind it, so that's why it's number 6. 5. Number 5 is Fire Plume Peak, and Fire Plume Peak is a volcano in the northwesternmost part of the Molten Front in the Firelands, and this is actually where firehawks make their home, and the firehawk matriarch and her eggs can be found at the top, while lava elementals roam around the base. And it's honestly just really cool. I mean, if you look at some of the things here, there's actually these wind currents all over, and you run into the wind currents, and then it goes woo, and it shoots you up. And you can get to different parts of the volcano, and you can get to these platforms as well. And the platforms are really cool because they're like crumbling apart. And I just love how the rock kind of crumbles because it's an animation I don't really see a lot in World of Warcraft. Like, this is one of the only times I've seen this animation. So I think this is really cool. And I never even knew this thing existed. I mean, I kind of did back in Cataclysm, but I think I played this like once or twice, and then I just repressed it, as most people do with Cataclysm and, you know, some of the other expansions. But this is one of those things where you go back and you're like, dude, this is pretty sick. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's one of 10 volcanoes. There's like, I think there's actually 11 or 12 volcanoes in World of Warcraft. And so this list was pretty easy to compile, but actually sorting them out from like 1 to 10 was kind of tricky. But I thought this one was cool enough to be right in the middle, and that's why it's number 5. 4. Number 4 is Scale Cracker Peak, and this is Dragonflight, everybody. You can tell because it actually looks probably like the best volcano we're going to look at today. It's just, you know, graphically, the lava looks amazing, the mountain looks amazing. This is actually where you get one of the dragon glyphs for dragon flying. It's all the way up at the top. You go to the top, you get it. So everybody, if you played Dragonflight and you got all your dragon glyphs, you've been to Scale Cracker Peak. So there's a fun little fact for you. But overall, I mean, this volcano is just awesome. Like, you got all the lava streams flowing down. You got the frogs just chilling out by the lava. You got the birds flying around, which, by the way, those birds are so annoying. I had to do the engineering quest where you have to collect their feathers, or I don't remember what it was, but it's an extremely low drop rate. It's annoying. They're annoying to kill. The phoenixes, they come back to life, and then you have to kill them again, and they don't even give you anything the second time around. It's dumb. I hate those birds. But you know what? They're flying around Scale Cracker Peak, which is an awesome volcano. And I don't even know if it's like multiple volcanoes, but it does kind of look like it. But I mean, overall, just really neat. And I had to put it on the list just because it's new, and there's very limited amounts of volcanoes in the game anyway, as I mentioned before. So that's why it's number 4. 3. And number 3 is Black Rock Mountain. And you had to know Black Rock Mountain was going to be on this list, right? But the mountain is actually a volcano that was created at the end of the War of the Three Hammers when the Dark Iron Lord Tharazan accidentally summoned Ragnaros, the Fire Lord, from his prison in the Firelands. The power unleashed by his rebirth was so massive it shattered a large section of the Red Ridge Mountains, creating the areas now known as the Searing Gorge and Burning Steppes, creating the Black Rock Mountain. Ragnaros enslaved the Dark Iron Dwarf clan, and they have built a giant city made of tunnels throughout the mountain. The name Black Rock Mountain and Black Rock Spire predates the coming of the orcs. So, some fun lore facts about Black Rock Mountain, and it's been here as long as World of Warcraft has existed. So, I mean, I was trying to figure out where to put Black Rock Mountain here, and to me, it's in the top 3, right? I think it could be number 1, but I think the next 2 are just a little more interesting to me, but Black Rock Mountain is probably the most notable of all the volcanoes in World of Warcraft, and that's why it's number 3. 2. Number 2 is the Lost Peak, which is the giant volcano at the center of the Lost Isles. It has a massive caldera in which there is another smaller one. And for everybody wondering what a caldera is, which is me up until I read what it was, a large volcanic crater, especially one formed by a major eruption leading to the collapse of the mouth of the volcano. Then, the fire turtle, Volcanoth, lived in its lair inside of the volcano. The goblins that got stranded on the Lost Isle built a mine on its northern foothills, and after Volcanoth's death, Lost Peak erupted, destroying much of the Lost Isles. And as you can see, there's a lot of turtles just chilling out here, and they're like shooting fire from their neck. I don't even know how they're doing that, but they must have some super volcanic powers or something, because look at that, they're crazy. I also wanted to take the time to mention Mount Kajaro, which is the Isle of Kazan's still active volcano, and it's only available in the actual Cataclysm trailer. It's not actually in the game, but I wanted to do a little reference since that's also tied into the goblins, so I figured we'd do a little 2-for-1. That's why I want to put them at number 2, because during Cataclysm, Deathwing attacked Mount Kajaro, setting it alight, causing it to become active again, and later erupt, destroying Bilgewater Port and possibly other parts of the island. Jaster Gallywix also considers it a possibility that his cartel's deep digging into Kazan may have contributed to the volcano's eruption. And Mount Kajaro is a reference to Mount Kilimanjaro, so a lot of goblin volcano stuff here, but that's why Lost Peak and Mount Kajaro are number 2. 1. And number 1 is the Fire Plume Ridge, and this is the volcano in the center of Ungoro Crater. And whenever I think of a World of Warcraft volcano, like if you were like, name a volcano off the top of your head, I'd be like, oh, Fire Plume Ridge. Just, I don't know why. It's just, that's my go-to volcano whenever I think of it. And I think because you do some quests there way back in the day, it just got like hardwired in my brain or something. Like I still remember taking that goblin back home. You gotta like keep throwing water at him and he's like, wah! And then you have to like measure the temperature of the actual thing. You have to measure Kraken height, I think, or Cracklin height. And the hottest place in the ridge is apparently 428,000 degrees Cracklin height, which I don't know how you convert that to Fahrenheit or Celsius, but somebody probably has. According to Wowpedia, the fiery mountain forms a natural border where the jungle meets the earth, and shallow veins of magma flow beneath the bowl of the crater, heating the steam pools and geysers around the Ungoro crater. After the Fourth War, Zakan reported that the volcano continues to teem with elementals and wildlife. The spirits of fire told him that they have been burning here for centuries, petering out and reigniting over and over again. Zakan would like to take Queen Talanji here one day if she'd agree to keep up good relations between the Dark Spear and the Zandalari. I really love this volcano. I think the fact that it's also in the Ungoro crater, which is very like, you know, prehistoric and everything, I think really makes me think volcano as well. And so for all those reasons, that's why it's number 1 on this list. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out this episode of Pointless Top 10. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Also, if you want to check out Zygor, you can use code crendor for 20% off now that we're partnered with them. Also, if you want to check out some more Pointless Top 10s, you can check out Pointless Top 10 Elevators, Pointless Top 10 Turtles, or a whole bunch of other ones. Okay? Okay. See ya.